The royal family, a symbol of British tradition and unity for centuries, has long been a beacon of stability. Its history, rich with grandeur and ceremonial significance, has captivated the public imagination. However, behind the polished image of monarchy, a storm has been brewing. For years, tensions that had been quietly simmering beneath the surface began to intensify, culminating in a shocking and unforeseen crisis that shook the foundations of the royal household. The once impenetrable unity of the family is now at risk, and the center of this seismic shift is Queen Camilla, the woman who has gradually stepped into the spotlight, and her turbulent relationship with her husband, King Charles. Queen Camilla's role in the royal family has always been a subject of intense scrutiny, particularly due to her past involvement with Prince Charles during his marriage to Princess Diana. This legacy, fraught with public scandal and tragedy, has shaped her every move within the palace. Despite her efforts to carve out a space for herself, Camilla has constantly been shadowed by the specter of Diana's legacy. Every step she takes is watched, dissected, and critiqued by the press and the public, making it nearly impossible for her to establish her own identity outside of the royal narrative. But what many did not foresee was the simmering tension between Camilla and her stepson, Prince William's wife, Princess Catherine. This quiet feud, which had been building for months, eventually exploded into a public spectacle during the coronation of King Charles III. A once-in-a-lifetime event meant to unite the family and the nation, the coronation became the stage for a royal drama that no one could have predicted. At the heart of this discord were two women, Camilla and Catherine, both powerful figures within the royal family but both with vastly different visions of their roles in the monarchy. The catalyst for this storm was something seemingly trivial, yet deeply significant in the world of royalty: the guest list. The list of names to be invited to the coronation was more than just a set of formalities, it was a statement of power, loyalty, and status within the family. Camilla, long seen as the stabilizing force within the monarchy, took the bold step of inviting 20 members of her own family to the event, ensuring that her kin would be present to witness her coronation as queen. Meanwhile, only 4 members of Catherine's family, the Middletons, were invited, an exclusion that did not go unnoticed by the press or by those who closely follow the royal family. For Catherine, this was more than just a slight, it was a direct challenge to her position within the royal family. Her family, despite their deep ties to the monarchy, had been relegated to the background, while Camilla's family was elevated to a position of prominence. The message was clear: Camilla's loyalty to her own kin was being prioritized over Catherine's long-standing support of the royal family. This disparity in treatment only served to fuel the already existing rift between the two women, a rift that was now out in the open for all to see. As the coronation progressed, what should have been a joyous occasion became fraught with tension. The atmosphere in Westminster Abbey was anything but celebratory. The formality of the ceremony, traditionally a display of unity, now felt strained and uncomfortable. When King Charles and Queen Camilla made their exit from the Abbey, the tradition was for the congregation to bow or curtsy in respect. But when Camilla passed, something extraordinary happened. Not a single courtesy or bow was offered. The snub, silent but unmistakable, sent shockwaves through the crowd. It was a clear and deliberate act of protest, a message that could not be ignored by the royal family. This public display of discontent did not go unnoticed by those closest to the royal family. Prince William, who had witnessed the growing tension between his wife and Camilla for months, appeared visibly shaken. His rigid posture and the tense expression on his face spoke volumes to those who knew him well. For the first time in years, it seemed as though the carefully constructed image of unity within the royal family was being torn apart, piece by piece. The event, once meant to unite the family and showcase their shared vision for the future, now revealed the deep divisions that had been growing in the shadows. The fallout from this public snub was swift. In the days following the coronation, tensions within the palace reached a boiling point. Princess Catherine, frustrated by the years of tension and the constant undermining of her role within the royal family, demanded a private meeting with Camilla. The setting for this confrontation was Buckingham Palace, the very heart of the monarchy, where the most important decisions were made. But this was no ordinary meeting, it was one that would set the stage for a confrontation that would reverberate throughout the royal household. Sources close to the palace revealed that the meeting between Camilla and Catherine was intense and fraught with emotion. Catherine, no longer willing to remain silent, confronted Camilla about her actions and the growing tension between them. The conversation was said to have been heated, with both women making their positions clear. Catherine, deeply protective of her family and her role as a member of the royal family, accused Camilla of overstepping her bounds and undermining the unity of the monarchy. Camilla, on the other hand, defended her actions, insisting that she was merely stepping into her role as queen consort and that she had every right to assert herself as a key player within the royal family. But this confrontation was more than just a disagreement between two women, it was a battle for power and control within the monarchy itself. Camilla, who had spent years navigating the complexities of royal life, was no longer content to be seen as the passive wife of King Charles. She had gradually stepped into the spotlight, making public appearances and even speaking out in interviews without consulting the palace. For some, her actions seemed harmless, a natural progression of her role as queen consort. But for the palace staff and those within the royal family, her increasing prominence was seen as a direct challenge to the established order. It was clear that Camilla was no longer content to remain in the background, she was now asserting herself as a powerful figure in her own right. The monarchy, built on centuries of tradition and protocol, thrived on control. Every word, every gesture, every appearance was meticulously planned and executed to maintain the royal image. But Camilla's unsanctioned interview and her bold statements about her future plans were seen as a challenge to that control. Her actions sent shockwaves through the royal corridors, and insiders feared that her growing influence could disrupt the delicate balance of power within the monarchy. For King Charles, this was an affront to everything he had worked to build. Having spent his entire life preparing for the throne, he viewed Camilla's actions as a direct threat to the stability of the monarchy. The royal family, for all its public unity, was now facing its greatest crisis in generations. Camilla's growing influence and her defiant actions had triggered a rift that could not be ignored. The royal family, which had long prided itself on its image of unity and strength, was now facing an internal battle that threatened to tear it apart. In the weeks that followed the confrontation, the tension within the palace continued to escalate. Sources suggested that King Charles, once so committed to maintaining the royal image at all costs, had reached a breaking point. His once unshakable bond with Camilla was now in jeopardy, and some insiders even speculated that their marriage might not survive the turmoil. The royal family, once a symbol of stability and continuity, was now teetering on the edge of a crisis that could have far-reaching consequences. As the royal drama continued to unfold, the public watched in fascination, wondering what the future held for the monarchy. Would Camilla and Charles be able to repair their relationship and restore order to the royal family? Or was this the beginning of the end for the British monarchy as we know it? One thing was certain, the royal family would never be the same again. The world watched as the drama unfolded, captivated by the intrigue, the power struggles, and the very real threat to the future of the monarchy. The stakes had never been higher, and the outcome remained uncertain. The royal family, once the epitome of unity and tradition, was now at a crossroads, facing a crisis that would define its future.